helping that is culpable in that crime.
This thing is so full of pork that even Scrooge and the Grinch are happy about it.
There wouldn't be a First Amendment without the Second Amendment. Your right to freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, the freedom and liberties that we have in this country are because of the Second Amendment. And never ever forget that.
She's not going to be the great savior for the Democrats. And they can't see the first black woman vice president with the whitest man ever in history, Gavin Newsom.
It's time that we, the people, take this country back. To stop and sit down, and Congressman Green had to be forcibly removed from the chamber. Okay, done with. He's been reprimanded. It's over. You come to today. I say it's over. We censured him. That's the next step. So that's what triggered. It's a minor kind of slap on the wrist. But then the Democrats disrupted the proceedings of the House, and I, for one, am tired of this crap. So play the clip.
Adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker.
All right, so now what you have is you have the official proceedings of the House of Representatives being disrupted not only by Al Green again, but now by a bunch of Democrats. So I have filed a resolution. I've literally got it in my hand. It's a simple resolution, but what it does, it directs the Sergeant of Arms to identify all of the Democrats, they're all Democrats, who were in the well singing and disrupting the proceedings. So keep in mind, you can be in the well, right? You have to be dressed a certain way, you have to behave, quite frankly, but you can be in the well. But they were singing and disrupted the proceedings. And keep in mind that the Speaker gave them the opportunity to stop and to, okay, look, basically, I know the Speaker's heart. He's a good man. He's like, okay, you made your point. Enough is enough. And he gavelled. That was the moment they should have stopped. But enough is enough. So this resolution would remove all of those Democrats once the Sergeant of Arms has identified who they are, and they would be removed from their committees. And so we didn't want to misidentify anyone. And so we were very careful and thoughtful on how we went about it. These are privileged, so I can force a vote on it. But look, we can disagree. Democrats, Republicans can disagree, but we're still going to treat one another with respect. And this idea that you can just disrupt the House proceedings has got to stop. Al Green did it for the State of the Union, or the President's address to Congress, and now they're doing it during official business. No more, no mas. That's it. So with that, we're going to jump to some of the other things. All right, so let's play the clip, or some of the clips of the Democrats and their reaction to some of President Trump's comments during the speech. All right, stand by. Live.
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns.
All right, so you look at this clip, right? You look at this clip. Law and order. That's not a partisan issue, right? You have cities across America, some of them largely blue cities, that are overrun with crime. And he's simply saying, we're going to bring back law and order. You had, individuals, you had a young boy, all right, fighting brain cancer. He was the president's guest. He was up in the balcony. He's fighting brain cancer. He's had 18 surgeries, 18. And he, as he was acknowledged by the president of the United States, the Democrats wouldn't stand for him. Laken Riley, she was brutally raped for 18 minutes and killed by an illegal. They wouldn't stand for her family. You had a woman who was injured, brain damage during a volleyball match. She was in the balcony. They wouldn't stand for her. You had the family of Compatori, the retired firefighter who died in the Butler, the attempted assassination of President Trump. They didn't stand for his family. Like, come on, this is enough. They have hit rock bottom. Right? They have no message. They have no leadership. They don't love you. They don't love America. The only thing they can do is cast names, cast aspersions, and I'm sick and tired of it. If you want to act like a petulant child on the House floor, then so be it. But you're going to be held accountable. And I'm going to challenge Speaker Johnson on this. He's my dear friend, love him to death, but it's time for him to step up and lead this Congress, all right? Lead us. We will follow and we'll do the right thing of making America great again. I was just with the president in the Oval Office, literally just yesterday, and we talked about what's next. All right, so we're going through this process of budget resolution. We passed it on our side. It's going to go to the Senate. In the meantime, we've got to continue to, unfortunately, pass some sort of spending mechanism. We have a hard deadline of March 14th. I don't like continuing resolutions, but what we're going to do is we'll pass something. What it looks like is to be determined, and then we'll continue that budget resolution and then start cutting out some of the waste, the fraud, and abuse. I want to give a shout out to Elon Musk. He and his team are doing a fantastic job. I have the privilege of being able to communicate directly with Elon, and so if I have questions, if I have concerns, or just a comment, I have that direct access. Same way with the president. So Tennessee's in a great spot. You have a great delegation, and most of us are, quite frankly, very close to the president. So really quickly, as we go on, the meeting with the president, I think we have another clip to play. Stand by.
So this timeline provides an illustration of how racial awareness develops. According to research, 3-month-olds show a preference for looking at faces that are similar to the race they see most often. At 9 months, infants are unable to distinguish the facial features of racial groups other than their caregiver unless they frequently see images.
So here we
of
go.
racially
So here's the
diverse
Department of Education. Really pushing some of their woke leftist agenda. So what has just happened, has just gone down, haven't actually read it yet. So the president has empowered the Secretary of Education to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education. So what does that look like if you're a teacher, if you have kids in school? What it means, or what I would push for, is that we're block granting that money directly to the states, and we let Tennessee, which is a fantastic state, it's a well-run state, kudos to our governor and to our General Assembly, that we now get to educate our kids instead of having all these strings coming down from Washington, D.C. We know they're woke, we know it's broke, and again, keep in mind that the Department of Education is a rather new entity. It was only created, 30, 40 years ago, and quite frankly, it's not doing its job. So when it was first established, its primary mandate was to spread the opportunity for education. Think about rural Appalachia, that period in time when there were no schools in the rural parts of our country. Well, guess what? We have that infrastructure now. Now their mandate is to actually freaking teach. And so with that, our kids aren't doing great in math. They're not doing well in reading and writing. So it's time that we get back to this idea of excellence. The states can do it better than the federal government, so enough is enough. So with that, it has been a busy week. It has been a, quite frankly, crazy week. You had the State of the Union, or the speech, President Trump's speech to Congress was disrupted by a Democrat. You now had this morning where you have a group of woke, radical Democrats disrupting the House floor, and you have my resolution, which is to hold them accountable. Again, if they want to behave that way, they should face the consequences. This is Andy Ogles, Congressman from the 5th District of Tennessee. Thank you, and God bless.
If you try to transition a child, you are guilty of child abuse, and every doctor, every nurse, every clinician that is helping that is culpable in that crime.
This thing is so full of pork that even Scrooge and the Grinch are happy about it.
There wouldn't be a First Amendment without the Second Amendment. Your right to freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, the freedom and liberties that we have in this country are because of the Second Amendment. And never, ever forget that.
She's not going to be the great savior for the Democrats. And they can't skip over the first black woman vice president with the whitest man ever in history, Gavin Newsom.
It's time that we, the people,